Hello there and a very warm welcome to the program. I am Victor Matthias. Nigerians were greeted by a barrage of allegations made by the former chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation that there was a lot of manipulations in the 2016 budget that was signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari. Today on the program, our focus will be on the issues that have trailed these allegations. However, let's first take a moment and see what the online trends were in the past week. Nigerian Twitterati went agog when results from the Broadcasters Organization of Nigeria's elections were announced and the chairman of Channels Media Group, Mr. John Momo, emerged winner of the chairmanship position. Nigerians tweeted their joy and congratulated the newborn chairman. Controversy trailed the campaign by a Nigerian suffering from stage 4 ovarian cancer patient. Some accused the family of taking advantage of Nigerians who heeded the call and donated over 30 million naira for the surgery. Well, those were the trends. Moving forward, however, I am joined by a public affairs analyst, Jeff Olukaide, a journalist, Sonny Kiri, and an Africa and Middle East public policy and security expert, Mukhtar Dan Ian. Thanks, guys, for coming on the program. Mukhtar, let me just start with you. What do you make of this budget padding scandal that has rocked the lower arm of the National Assembly?
I think Dogara and Jibrin had some sort of deal, which I think has kind of been alluded to already, and I think the deal did not work out. It seems Dogara forgot that there is a power behind the throne, for lack of a better term, and decided to cross Jibrin, removed him as chair of the Appropriations Committee, which is, to all intents and purposes, the most powerful committee within the Federal House of Representatives. And of course, Jibrin is striking back. Now, if we go back to Dogara's emergence, we'll remember that Jibrin is actually the person who, if I'm not mistaken, not only stepped down for Dogara, but was one of the people who actually campaigned extensively for Dogara to emerge speaker. So whatever backdoor, backroom deal they had, it obviously fell apart at some point, and Dogara felt it was okay to kick Jibrin to the curb. And now Jibrin is fighting back.
If we want to look this issue, we have to look it very well. We have to look it in the Nigeria Constitution, and we have to look it in the power between the legislatures, if whether they have powers to implement or to add some budget that were not included in the passing of the budgets. Because what I've seen so far, is that a lot of allegations. They have made a lot of allegations that this one is accusing this one and this one is accusing this party. So what we should be looking at is whether if the House of Representatives, the lawmaker, they have the power to add things that were not included in the budget, or if they really have the power and not to include or not to include. I think those are the areas we should be looking at, because I think there are a lot of politics in the issue going on. So what we should be looking at, if whether the lawmakers have the power.
Having the anti-graft agencies to wade in right now actually has no significance, because when you look at the way the House is set up, there's an ethics committee that has to handle matters like this. Now, after the budget has been passed and constituents projects have been awarded and everything. It is now at that time that EFCC can decide any of the legislators have been found guilty of misappropriating the funds. That is when EFCC or ICPC can come in. But as it is right now, it doesn't make any sense for the anti-graft agencies to wade into the affairs of the House. There's a committee that has to go through all of these accusations and allegations and decide how to overturn the situation and put everything in order. So as regards the issue of padding, I'm not sure I'm not sure it's anywhere near being unconstitutional.
All right, now you're saying investigations should be carried out internally. Don't you think there will be some form of bias since the person to be investigated in this issue is the one who actually appointed the committee members?
Um, well, I'm inclined to agree, but the way it actually is, if we cannot trust people who make laws, who pass bills to handle their own affairs, then should we actually really trust them to handle issues for us? If we cannot trust them to handle this problem, then how on earth should we allow them to make laws for us? So I don't think there's going to be any bias. All right. I don't think there is going to be any bias. I just feel that it's important to allow the House to treat and resolve this matter on their own. It's very important. We have a number of them, and we have committees set out for all these things. And then when you bring matters like this to the floor, then they have to be discussed.
If it's a procedural matter for the National Assembly, then yes. But allegations of corruption are criminal matters that are not internal to the House. So I think EFCC or whatever other organization charged with such is perfectly fine when it comes to investigating it. For example, in the US, whose constitution, the Nigerian constitution, is based on, there are people like Speaker Tom DeLay and so on and so forth who have actually gone to jail for acts of corruption, which took place when they were in elected office. So I think, again, if it's a procedural matter, it's internal to the House. The moment public funds come into the equation, it's no longer a House matter. It's now a federal matter, which the proper authorities should be able to investigate.
All right, do you think Representative Jibrin was right to go public with the allegations rather than following the set House rules of
Jibrin,
matters arising from within?
I think all is fair in love and war, and politics is definitely a mixture of the two. So yes, he is within his rights. I mean, at the end of the day, when whatever deal was struck between Dogara and Jibrin that led to the emergence of Dogara as speaker fell apart, and Jibrin was dismissed. I guess he figured, look, if I can't hold on to my office, you can't either. So now he is, for lack of a better term, spilling the beans. The other gentleman said something about budget padding. It's normal for legislators to be able to, the way it's done, let me put it this way, the budget isn't voted up or down. In other words, it's not like I vote for the budget or you vote against it. So there is negotiation and so on and so forth. However, it's the duty of the executive to go through the budget which is passed by the National Assembly and see if it is acceptable. If it is acceptable, then the president signs it into law. If it was indeed padded with all sorts of things which should not have been there, and the executive did not see it or saw it and decided that it's not a big deal and still signed it into law, then it is what it is.
All right, just hold your thoughts for a second. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back shortly. Stay with us.